Welcome to Cinepro, where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. The movie starts with the criminal throwing nails into the river, and at the same time, Messiah's grandmother, whom he loved dearly, passes away. People call him during the funeral to check on him, while his father cannot stand to look at him. The funeral ends. His father gets up angrily, and his mother tries to calm him down, saying he must be upset about his grandmother's death. However, his father insists Messiah stays at home because his old school, where his grandfather was the principal, is holding a memorial service that he must attend. But Messiah refuses. When he sees a letter addressed to him, he opens it and decides to go meet the sender, who reminds him of himself and urgently needs his help. Messiah goes to the bakery where the sender used to work but finds it closed. It turns out the sender was a strange man who used to visit the bakery daily at the same time. He worked as a baker, treated customers kindly, especially diligent students, and gave them free food from the shop. He would check on them and observe them, but at the end of the day, he would kidnap them, take them to his den, remove their nails, torture them in various ways, burn their bodies, and bury their bones. Eventually, the police arrested him, accusing him of murdering 23 teenagers and one adult woman because one girl escaped and reported him. Messiah goes to his university, pondering the man's letter and whether he should meet him. At that moment, a girl from his old school recognizes him and reminds him of herself. He greets her, and the criminal confesses that the last girl who escaped and reported him was not his intended victim. He let her go willingly because he could have killed and buried her like the others, but chose not to. Messiah visits the prison where the man gave him the address. He's asked to wait until his number is called. When his turn comes, it turns out the letter's sender is the criminal who killed the teenagers. Messiah meets him, and the criminal remembers Messiah as a child visiting his shop. He thanks Messiah for coming and asks if he has heard about his crimes, knowing they have spread everywhere. The criminal admits to killing 24 teenagers and asks Messiah if he was committing these crimes back when Messiah visited the shop. The criminal confirms that he was, but Messiah was too young then to be a target. His victims were always aged 17 to 18, diligent in their studies, and intelligent, while Messiah was only 15 at the time. The criminal recalls the type of pie Messiah used to order before school, and how he always cleaned the table after eating. He then reveals that he was sentenced to death and accepts the sentence, but he cannot accept being accused of a 9th crime that he did not commit. The victim of that crime was over 20 years old, not his target age group, and the manner of killing did not match his methods. He asks Messiah to find out who the real killer is, emphasizing that the 9th victim's murderer is still at large. The visit ends, and he is left thinking, and at that moment he sees a man with long hair and asks him, "Were you in prison, right?" He tells him that he was also in there and that he is an indecisive person and does not know how to make any decision. When the traffic light changes, Messiah walks and leaves him and goes to the lawyer who is handling the criminal's case and works for him in the evening. As soon as the lawyer leaves, takes out the criminal's file, films the whole case, and hears on TV about the case of the baker that everyone loved, who killed 24 teenagers over the course of 7 years, mostly high school students. Messiah gathers photos of the victims, noting that the first was a 17-year-old girl who worked at a supermarket. The criminal frequented her workplace, gained her trust, and eventually killed her. The second victim was an 18-year-old boy whom the criminal targeted by pretending to accidentally bump into his bicycle. The criminal apologized and was looking at the boy's nails, gained the boy's trust, and eventually killed him. All the victims had black hair, were teenagers, and excelled academically, except for the 9th victim, a 26-year-old woman. When he goes to university in the evening, he sees his colleague from the old school and wanted to greet Messiah investigates the 26-year-old victim's case, learning that she worked at a medical equipment company and was killed after leaving work. Her body was found in a forest 15 kilometers from the criminal's home. He goes out in the evening after playing squash, and his colleague comes to him and invites him to a place where they will meet, and she invites him to come to a place they called him looking for job. So he agrees in the evening and keeps waiting for them, and no one comes except at the last moment. His colleague introduces her friends to him, so when he mentions the job, they make fun of him, and she makes him understand that this name is a nickname and that they are coming only to drink and that's it. And he gets embarrassed and starts walking, and when the girl calls him, he forcefully hits an employee, so he beats him while he takes his stuff and walks quickly and returns to read in the case file that all the bodies were killed by the criminal. They were buried in his land, and they were all without nails except for the 26-year-old girl Messiah visits the forest where her body was found, discovering that she had been tortured and was still alive when found. Witnesses reported seeing someone with long hair, a boy or a crying girl, frequenting the crime scene. Messiah visits the criminal again, sharing his findings that the 26-year-old's murder was different from the others. The timing between her death and the previous crime was shorter than the criminal's usual pattern. This suggests the criminal might not be responsible for her death. Messiah also learns from the victim's former colleague that she often felt someone was stalking her and that her boss was infatuated with her. Additionally, her high school classmates recall her obsession with a strange diet and her fear of germs before her death. And surely the criminal knew. And that's why he was torturing her with mud. The criminal was very happy with what Messiah had reached, but he warned him to be careful because the criminal was still outside and might be watching him. Messiah remembered when he used to visit the criminal's bakery in the past, and he treated him well. One time, he gave him free juice. After Messiah got out of prison or a long month, he saw him again. Messiah went to the hut where the criminal used to torture his victims. A neighbor was surprised at how the beloved baker turned out to be a criminal who deceived them. It was mentioned in the news that they found mechanical tools like pliers inside the criminal's hut, and he was arrested when one of his victims escaped and reported him. The next day, Messiah went to meet the manager of the girl who was killed, and he informed him that he was the lawyer of the criminal. He asked him a few questions. He interrupted him to ask if he had been watching her or not. He confirmed that he was at work when the victim was killed. Meanwhile, the long-haired man was watching him from a car. When Messiah returned home, he saw his area being organized with his grandmother's belongings. At that moment, he found a very old picture among their belongings, which was of the orphanage his grandmother had opened, and the criminal was photographed with them. He learned that his grandmother adopted the criminal when he was 19 years old, and also helped him open that bakery. Because Messiah's grandmother had suffered, when she was young, she opened the orphanage for children like her. He learned from someone who worked with his grandmother in the orphanage that the criminal was adopted by his grandmother. At the time, he knew how to control the children there, treating the boastful kids like a leader, then turning to praise others to make them jealous. This was his method. Messiah's grandmother always defended him because she loved him deeply. Messiah showed him the pictures he found, and the man pointed to a picture of the criminal. He asked him who she was, and he told him her name, shocking Messiah to find out she was his mother. She was the closest to the criminal, and Messiah's grandmother had also adopted her, but later expelled her when she found out she was pregnant. Messiah was shocked and asked who the child's father was. The man replied that he didn't know. Messiah feared he might be the criminal's son. He was overwhelmed. He told the criminal his mother's name and that she was with him in the orphanage. He asked about her relationship with his father and learned that he treated her like a servant. He also abused him and treated him poorly. Messiah remembered visiting the bakery in the past, bringing bad grades in high school, and enrolling in a college his father didn't like. The criminal told him he was happy when Messiah visited the bakery. Messiah asked him if he was his father, but he didn't answer and reached out his hand to him. Messiah remembered visiting him in the past, bruised by his father. The criminal tried to console him, telling him to be strong and that he would always be there for him. Messiah returned to his college and saw his colleague again. When he went back to his mother, he told her he met the criminal that day. It was revealed they were friends in the past when she was in the orphanage. She became nervous and told him they would talk later. When he learned she had been mistreated by her mother, that's why his grandmother adopted her. The only one who cared for her was the criminal. Messiah's father knew nothing about this. He asked her who his real father was. At that moment, his father entered, and she had to change the subject. Before he left, she told him his father wasn't the criminal. Messiah learned that the criminal was accused of killing the 26-year-old girl because someone testified they saw him near the crime scene. The witness's identity was protected under the law, which applies if the witness was a victim of the accused. The witness appeared and testified they saw the criminal near the crime scene. Messiah went to the lawyer and told him the law of witness protection was applied to the witness, even though they weren't one of the accused's victims. The lawyer was shocked to find out the witness was indeed a victim of the criminal because they were in the same orphanage in the past, he and his younger brother. The witness was 10 years old, his brother 8, and the criminal was 20. He used to provoke them against each other, making them hurt themselves. The scars are still on their hands to this day. That's why the law was applied to the witness. But Messiah objected because there was no solid evidence that the witness was ever a victim. The lawyer reminded him that the criminal was a serial killer, so he shouldn't believe everything he says. He He recounted that when he was 14, he took a girl to an old bus station, hit her on the head with a rock, removed her eyes, put stones in her body, and kicked her face multiple times, causing her eyes to be gouged out, her teeth broken, and her organs injured. He advised Messiah to read the file again and not let his emotions cloud his judgment. Messiah went to the company where the witness worked as an engineer. He met a colleague who told him the witness resigned after punching the manager for mocking his long hair, which covered a scar on his face. The manager compared him to girls, reminding him of his father's words. He also learned that the witness went to the company where the victim worked. Messiah suspected the witness might have killed her. He wrote to the criminal about his findings, suspecting the witness followed the girl after work, killed her, and falsely accused the criminal. He believed the witness acted out of sensitivity and insecurity, and that he had work-related issues. The next day, Messiah's colleague tried to be nice to him, and he started liking her. On his way home at night, he accidentally bumped into a man who insulted him. He felt cowardly for not responding, so he went back and beat the man severely, almost killing him, but stopped at the last moment. He ran away after getting injured. Later, he received a message from the witness's colleague, who sent him a picture of the witness who testified against the criminal. The surprise was that the witness was the long-haired man who had been watching him throughout the film. He showed the picture to a woman to confirm if he was at the crime scene. She confirmed it was him. Messiah went to the crime scene and was surprised to find the witness there. The witness told him, "This is the place where she was killed. I killed her." Messiah ran away in fear, and the witness chased him. When he caught him, he said, "I didn't kill her." Messiah returned home, and his mother was shocked by his appearance. The next day, he went to the criminal and told him he knew who killed her. He met the witness and learned that when the witness was 10 years old and his brother was 8, the criminal was 20 and in the orphanage with them. He used to play with them, but also hurt them. The criminal claimed he gave them freedom, but he targeted them. He made them hurt each other and asked, "Who wants to play the pen game?" The witness pointed to his brother and injured his leg. The witness regretted it deeply, feeling guilt for years over what he had done to his brother. The girl who died had a phobia of germs, and he definitely knew about it. So he went back to the witness after he grew up and asked him, "We want to play the pen game again," reassuring him that he came to apologize and asking him to decide who he would play it with. At that moment, he got scared and was forced to point at his daughter who was walking by. The criminal left him and blamed him, saying that he was the one who made the decision and made him feel guilty, especially since he used to force him to meet him. The criminal justified that the girl who died was not the same as the one at that age. He told him, "You were definitely targeting her when she was a teenager, just like you targeted the witness back then," and showed him messages he had sent to the witness, telling him that he had heard his testimony and wouldn't tell the committee what he did, nor would he blame him. He kept making him feel guiltier about killing her, repeatedly asking him to come visit him. In another message, he threatened to say that the witness was the one who pointed at the girl. The criminal responded that it was the witness who asked the girl to go out with him, and when she refused, he decided to kill her. Not wanting to be arrested, he lied about what happened. Because he was suspicious of his testimony, he asked to visit him in prison. He got closer to him and tried to convince him, searching for the truth, and started playing with his mind like he used to while looking at his nails. He asked him, "Did you think of me as a target back then?" He justified it by saying he was still young. He reminded him of when he said it takes time to make victims trust him, but once they do, he tortures them. When asked why he does that, he replied that it's the only way he knows how to deal with people. He confronted him, saying that he tortured her but refused to kill her, so the witness would always feel guilty, and that he let the investigator work on the case because he enjoyed it and had control over him. He revealed that he was the one who took the girl in his car, not the witness, and that he was torturing her. He asked, "Didn't you ever think about how your father and did your mother tell you how to get rid of their son?" He then revealed that after his mother gave birth to a dead child, they burned the body, turned it to ashes, and threw it in the river. Messiah replied that he was going to kill the man yesterday, but when he couldn't, he realized he wasn't his son. Before leaving, he asked him, "Why did you throw the nails into the river?" We then see him taking the nails he had removed and throwing them. As he's about to leave, he asks him, "Did your mother have nice nails?" He replied, "When I was young, yes." Days pass, and Messiah gets closer to his colleague, and they fall in love. He tells her, "You have nice nails," to which she replies, "Do you want to pull them out?" Suddenly, a folder falls from her bag, containing pictures of all the criminal's victims. At that moment, Messiah is shocked, and the movie ends. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all new updates. See you in the next video. Goodbye.